Hey guys, it's Eivind here from the Integral Center. I'm sat in the middle room with Jason Basgall, the leader of Circling Lab, which I've been participating in quite frequently over the last 2 months, and it's been a very important part of my learning process with circling, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And as we're going to have a workshop in circling in Norway in January, I thought it might be interesting to speak with an expert. You're an expert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what has you do this day after day, week after week?
For me, it probably goes back to my first circle. Like, I love the connection that circling gives us. Like, I feel more with folks while I'm circling them.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But for me, the thing that I really love is the cultivating of awareness that comes from doing the practice. There is a way in which, whether I'm being circled, or I'm leading a circle, or I'm just in a circle, doesn't matter what role I'm in, if I'm truly present with my experience, there's something I get about myself that is invaluable, that I don't think I could get by sitting on like a meditation cushion by myself.
Do you find that's consistent with circling?
Yes, it's consistent to the point I can be present, right?
Okay, so that's a requisite that you're actually there to experience what's going on. Yeah.
And the ability to be present in a circle has increased over the years, being in lots of circles.
Mm.
And I think I was fortunate when I was first starting circling to be in circles with people who could notice when I wasn't present, which then of course brings me back to presence.
So I'm hearing that you were in circles where you were being confronted repeatedly with your lack of presence.
I wouldn't say confronted repeatedly.
Okay.
But it was, if I was checked out, I would, somebody could point that out. Like,
they would tell you.
Oh, wait, there I am.
What's that like in a circle to have that kind of feedback?
I think at that stage, at that point, I don't even know if I really knew what it meant. So I had to like integrate that. Now,
Like you didn't know what presence even was back then?
I think what I believe now is it's like that transcend and include concept. Like what I thought was presence meant one thing to me.
Yeah.
And then by doing that, doing the practice, it became even more. Like what I knew previously was true, but then I knew something greater than that included what I knew previously. And my experience is it keeps growing.
So I see you move your hands outwards. You're literally like making expansion happening.
This is what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Now it's here, and it includes that, but
yeah.
Even bigger.
Right.
And the more I do this practice, it just keeps transcending and including. So all of that's still true, but there's like a greater truth.
Yeah.
About myself.
And you seem enthusiastic when you speak about it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's why I do it. At least 3 times a week I lead, and if not more on some weeks, which I love. I love it, and that's why. It's like there's always some way of being more with myself and with others.
So you do it here at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Do you find that you do it in more private, social settings as well? Or?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like we do it formally here at the center.
Yes.
And then also, I notice like in my social life, like it's hard. It's almost like I wouldn't have it any other way now. Like average conversations I used to tolerate.
Yeah.
It's like it's so difficult to tolerate now. I have to know more, and I just engage in this way of being more present.
So like you know what's on the menu now. So now you're kind of greedy.
Right. Well, I don't know about greedy.
Greedy, no.
Greedy suggests I'm taking something.
Yeah.
And
more of like a connoisseur.
More, yeah. And the more I get, in a way, selfish and wanting more out of my relationship, the more the people on the other end of my relationships get.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really occur to me as greedy as much as it is cultivating that.
Right. So definitely not greedy in the sense that this is for me and not for anyone else.
Right, because if I take some from me,
yeah,
it gives for both of us.
Yeah. So from that, I'm imagining that this practice of circling has impacted not only you but also the people in your life in a very positive way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I mean, it's so, that's almost the water I'm swimming in now. Why don't you ask me like a specific question?
I can do that.
Yeah, do that. Like,
What?
bring it.
I like that. What is the biggest learning that you've had from circling?
Wow.
It's a big question.
It is. It is. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. Biggest learning. I think in a context around what the biggest learning is that there's no end to the exploration.
Nice.
Like there's no finish line. Like, oh, now I've got it. Like that doesn't exist. And it's not that that's frustrating. It's encouraging. It is encouraging me to go further and further all the time, to know myself more and bring myself to those in my life that I love.
Wonderful. So I imagine that there's a way of relating with this, like infinity of growing that might be discouraging for some people. And I'm hearing that in your case, maybe because of circling, that brings encouragement and something. What's that like?
I think it's like we were discussing this weekend. You were there discussing the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like taking the red pill.
Yeah.
And it's like once you take the red pill and you wake up to what's really there, there's a way in which you never want to go back. It's a way in which you can look back at your past and realize you had all these constructs about what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And then you realize it was that and then some, that transcendent include. And I can't ever go back to that smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
The larger is inclusive of the smaller.
Yeah.
It is all of that.
It's kind of funny that you speak about the red pill because there's a big red dot blinking over your head right now.
Is there? I'm kind of hesitant.
It's the recording on my camera. Nobody but me will see that. Yeah, that would have been a bit scary. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share to people who haven't experienced circling yet and might want to?
Yeah, I would highly encourage it. I would say, you have to try it at least once.
Yeah.
And experience for yourself. Don't take my word for it, but experience for yourself, like what it is that makes you uniquely you. It reminds me of, do you know who Alan Watts is?
Yeah, he's an American Buddhist teacher, isn't he?
Right. Well, he was English, and I think he moved over to America in the
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
But he has this saying, you can't bite your own teeth. Like you can't see your own eyes.
Yeah.
And circling's like that. It's like we get to see ourselves more through the eyes of other people.
Yeah.
And I would encourage anybody to do that.
Yeah, and from my own experience, that's super valuable. Where do we get to have that level of honesty with one another? And like, my experience with circling is that the level of reflection that I can get back in just one circle, is as much as many months of normal life. Unless I have very conscious friends, which
circling helps cultivate that.
Yeah.
More I do my practice and my friends get into it, and I make friends who do the process, and then I have friends who don't do the process who might get into it because I do it, and it all just comes together.
Yeah.
And it's like there's more consciousness in my life just because of my willingness to do the work.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that's the end of our little movie here.
Sweet.
Jason. So I'll just come over to you so then we can both be in the frame.
Shot?
Yeah.
Get all the artwork in there?
Yeah. So here we are in the middle room of the Integral Center. Come visit. Or come to the workshop in January. Bye.